If your goal is to lose weight, having a little bit of hunger is pretty normal. But when does your hunger become excessive? If you're not prioritizing these 3 things, you're probably going to have a really hard time losing weight. I once too felt like a bottomless pit. Women are on like a 30-day cycle. We literally get like 1 week out of the month to feel a little normal. When you're constantly hungry, it feels like you're on a 30-day cycle that lasts forever and ever. If you're consistently hungry and you feel like a bottomless pit, there's probably a few things that are missing here. So I'm gonna go through a few of them. This first one's gonna be you're not prioritizing protein, fiber, and healthy fats. Probably heard people talk about protein over and over and over again. It's for good reason. Your body needs protein. Muscle needs protein. Odds are that if you weighed 20 pounds less on the scale and still look the same, you probably wouldn't want that result either. Listen, I hate to break it to you, but if you are not prioritizing your protein, getting that goal body, baby, it's not gonna happen. Just to give you an idea of how much protein you should be eating, you want to aim for about 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per pound of goal body weight. Protein should take up about roughly 30% of your macros. It's gonna vary obviously between individuals. If you're not counting your calories or your macros and you don't really know what a serving size of chicken, what beef looks like, what your plate should look like, get really familiar on how much 3 ounces of chicken is, 4 ounces of chicken is. Protein is the most satiating macronutrient. It's really hard to just overconsume quality protein. But you do not want to eat just a plate of chicken breast, I'm sure. No thank you. Healthy fats could be anything from like an avocado, olive oil, nut butters. Chia seeds have a good amount of fat in them. While we're talking about different sources, peanut butter. Peanut butter is not a protein. Peanut butter is primarily a fat source, regardless of what the Skippy container says. While yes, there is protein in peanut butter, it does not necessarily make it a protein source. It's primarily fat. It is a fat source. Fiber is going to be another thing that keeps you really full throughout the day. Oatmeal has fiber. Berries have fiber. You can pretty much load up on berries, so raspberries, strawberries, blackberries, blueberries, for like little to no calories. They're packed with fiber and they're usually an easy side for like a breakfast or a snack. All of these things are going to keep you more satiated for a longer period of time as you're eating them throughout the day. Fiber is going to help you be regular. If you are pooping once every 3 days, that's not normal. Once every 2 days, not normal. If your body is not used to consuming that much protein at once, you may run into a little constipation, okay? Which the fiber could counter, but if it doesn't, another thing that I want you to look at is where you're getting your protein from. Is it high quality protein? Is it from Whole Foods? Are you mainly eating shakes and bars? Things with a lot of additives can really throw your digestion off. Quality of protein matters. The second reason you're probably always hungry is your sleep and your stress levels. I am looking at you. You prioritize 3 hours of doom scrolling on TikTok, but you do not prioritize a morning and a night routine. You're waking up, you're on fight or flight mode, you don't know what you're doing for the day. You gotta be intentional about your routines. You should treat sleep as a task for your day. Cortisol, which is your stress hormone, will trigger things like cravings for fatty foods, sugary foods. Stress also increases your ghrelin. Ghrelin will trigger you to be hungry even when your body doesn't really need food. If you are in a chronic state of dieting and you've been dieting for weeks, for months, for years at a time, and your body has not had a break, under eating is a stress on your body. For instance, if you are waking up at 9 a.m. and you're going straight for the coffee, nothing else, no water, no food, nothing, straight for the coffee, and then that's the only thing your body is going to intake until 3 p.m. and then at 3 p.m. you have a Lunchable and then you have dinner, your body is being deprived of nutrients. It's a stress on your body. Poor sleep is also a recipe for craving. Like I said, the time that you have in the day, be intentional about it. Set up a night routine that's realistic for you. Set up a morning routine that's realistic to you. Set the mood at night. Dim your lights. Get off your phone. Set out your clothes for the gym in the morning. I love a good mindless scroll, but my mindless scroll is not happening unless my night routine is in check. Okay, number 3, you are not prioritizing your water goals. Listen, I know how this sounds. Every other tip on the internet that has anything to do with being healthy and wellness, everyone says, drink enough water. Drink 1 gallon a day. I'm not saying to go out and drink a gallon a day. Probably not needed for a good amount of people. But your 1 Poland Spring bottle that's been sitting in your car for 4 days is not gonna do it. Your body's around 60% of water, okay? There's a lot of things, a lot of functions going on in your body. In order to keep those functions going, we need to hydrate. Dehydration is easily mistaken for hunger. You're gonna be a little dehydrated and you're gonna go right for the Chips Ahoy. Keep a jug nearby, set alarms, get a cute water bottle, add some electrolytes. Add some sugar-free lemonade packets. That's what I do. This girl, she's always filled with sugar-free pink lemonade packets, at least 70% of the time. It tastes good and it helps me get my water in. Another thing, you're going throughout the day and you feel like you can't focus, diagnosing yourself with ADD and ADHD, and you're running around and you don't know what's what and your brain is foggy and you can't remember anything. Dehydration causes brain fog. The brain fog alone makes me want to drink my water. There's enough stuff going on up here. I don't need another reason to like make my mind any more messy than it is. Now this is just a bonus tip. It's not something that you have to do. If there's one thing that I recommend supplement wise, it's always going to be creatine. It's one of the most researched supplements. Your body naturally has creatine in it. Adding a little bit to your water every day, especially if you're exercising, especially if you're doing any type of resistance training, can also help with cognitive function, muscle recovery, building strength in the gym. I personally use Legion's creatine. They have flavored and unflavored versions. I'll put a link in the description box. But really, just make drinking water enjoyable. I don't want to hear any grown adult come to me and say that they don't like the taste of water. Grow up. Add something to it that makes you enjoy it a little more and figure it out. Get your good nutrients in. Stop starving yourself. Take anything that's stressful out of your life. Get your sleep in check. Get your stress levels under control. And stick to your water goals. Bye.